we need to watch Ron DeSantis because the Lord is going to use him in a powerful way. I had several years ago a vision that I went into where I saw two palm trees, and I saw one of them was planted in California, the other one in Florida. And I said, Lord, what is this, these two palm trees? He said, this palm tree from California is Ronald Reagan. This palm tree that is in Florida is Ron DeSantis. He said, Ron DeSantis or Ronald DeSantis is the second, has an anointing similar to Ronald Reagan. And I saw Ron DeSantis as a tree of righteousness, that palm tree. And I saw it uprooted from Florida and brought to Washington, D.C. and planted in Washington, D.C. And as the storms came, he was not moved.
That's right.
There's something about Ron DeSantis that we need to begin to pray for. We need to begin to look at, because his ultimate future is to have a position in the United States as the president and be planted in Washington, D.C. And he would be like a Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
I had to make a video real quick on this particular subject. As you see there, this false so-called prophet, Charlie Shamp, talking about Ron DeSantis being anointed and eventually the presidency. He came out with that a little over maybe 2 years ago now, a year and a half ago. And as you saw there, that was with Jim Baker, the show, the old false pastor, Jim Baker, teacher, whatever you want to call him, with his food bucket that's sitting right there on the table. But the reason why I wanted to talk real quick about this is, I don't know if you guys have seen where Ron DeSantis and them are trying to overturn the child labor laws once again in Florida. So this man that always wants to talk about God and talk about faith and all of that wants to put 14 and 15-year-olds to where they can work all night to make up for the shortage of the immigrants that were working there in some of the industries over there in Florida. And he figures the best way to fill these jobs, and he's trying to say as a teenager, we all worked as teenagers. I did too. And guess what? I didn't have to work overnight on a school night. And this is what they're trying to do. And then he's trying to fix it to where 16 and 17-year-olds will not have guaranteed breaks, meal breaks or whatever. How godly is this? So with this Charlie Shamp and all of these people that try to anoint these so-called politicians as anointed by God and messengers of God and doing a work for God, I'm sure God would like somebody to get off their feet for a minute and have a water break or put some food in their belly. And what about those that have certain health issues, that diabetes and certain things where they blood, where there's where you need besides diabetes, I'm talking about as far as just eating, you need to put something in there, the sugar, low sugar, or that's whatever, something to eat, things like that. But for teenagers on a school night, I mean, how ridiculous. It burns me up. I've got over 25 years of working nights, and 18 and a half years at my current job working a night shift. And I will tell you one thing, those of you that know it has ever done it, it wears you down. I pray that it doesn't get me here as when it's close for me to retire. That's the thing, because it does take off years of your life. It's hard on you. But for a kid that's growing, they talk about education and learning and wanting to make America better with the educational system. But to have them work all night or have them situation where they're going to, how is that going to work out? Instead of trying to you've got that much hate towards immigrants, that much hate that you just rather, we'll fix that. We'll break all the child labor laws and put them to work. I mean, it's ridiculous and it's sickening. So I had to make a video on that because as a night shift worker myself, knowing how brutal it is, I did it for the sacrifice of raising my kids to where I didn't want to have to put my kids into care. Because we didn't have no child care. We didn't. My wife was from Cleveland, had no family really here. Trying to figure that out. We were poor. Barely. Making ends meet in the beginning, and trying to just do right. And I figure I sacrificed 12-hour shifts in the factory when I started off just to be able to go into work with 3 hours sleep so I can watch my kids during the day till she got home from work, and we made it work. And such a blessing. But to put kids and teenagers and to do this to them at the hands of a politician that so-called prophets and other people that continue to anoint these folks, it's sickening. And this is where we are. This Charlie Shamps and all of them, he's still around. They're still making all these predictions. They've anointed other politicians, and we know what's going on right now with the chaos, with all of this, where they continue to anoint these people and look at them as godlike figures. And no wonder, once again, that those that are lost, those that don't know the Lord, wants nothing to do with the church and church folks. And I don't blame them, many of them, because it's a shame. And thank God I've given my life to the Lord many years ago, and for many of you as well, because think how much more difficult it will be coming to the Lord when you got people out here masquerading and they're trying to, as we talk about, call them the Christian Taliban. That's who they are. They don't give a darn about nobody but themselves, power, greed, and money. And we'll continue to call it out on this channel, take the issues on that the church don't want to talk about, take the devil head on, punch him right in between the chops. Evangelism for God is your channel. My name is Maurice Braxton. Until the next video, my friends, take care. God bless.